One of the biggest problems we've had, besides it just dying out, is oil pressure. It's been dropping pretty low once the engine's warmed up, and you can hear valves start ticking. Not very good. So what we're going to do now, we change the oil out to a higher weight. We put in a Ford filter. We're going to see if that helps. We're going to run the engine until it's warmed up and see if the pressure drops. If it doesn't, then we know we're good, and we don't have to worry about like crank bearings and trying to figure out why it's losing pressure. If it is losing pressure still, then we're gonna pull the engine, check the oil pan, see if there's anything gummed up anywhere and plugged up. If that isn't the problem, we'll probably replace the oil pump and figure out crank bearings and who knows what else. So oil pressure, it's not too high on this gauge right now. So I know these aren't the most accurate, but it definitely drops. So that's what we're looking for, is to see if this pressure drops down. Last time when I drove the truck, it was actually riding on L once it warmed up. So we'll just give it a few minutes, let it run, see what it does. So we ran the truck for a while until everything was warmed up and we lost oil pressure again. So that means the next thing to do is pull the engine and figure out what's wrong.
Battery is coming out.
The old adjustable wrench, always the wrong size. So after we drained out the radiator, we're just, flushing all the rust through. Just all this rusty water that's coming out, and yeah, it's pretty bad. There is like a piece of fungus literally growing inside the radiator. So I don't know, we might end up just getting a new radiator at this point.
Yeah, it's just like really bad.
But unfortunately, this is also going to be an indication of what the block looks like. So we got the fuel pump disconnected, the radiator's out. As you can see, there's a big hole here. Just a bunch of stuff getting unconnected, all these radiator hoses. Now we're removing the power steering pump so that when we pull the engine it stays behind because it's attached to the steering box. We don't want to deal with more fluids everywhere. And then I think next up after we get this done, we'll be getting the exhaust disconnected. And it's moving along. Alright, so we got the wiring harness all disconnected. All the vacuum stuff is off. We've got a few more grounding straps that have to come off, but power steering is done, fuel lines are off, we've got the starter out now, so we might as well do it all at once, pull the front end off, and then the motor can just kind of come out instead of having to go up so high to get over this. It'll make the whole process a lot easier, but now it's time for dinner.
It's time for barbecue.
So we've got ribs been smoking for like 6 hours now in here.
So we got the full front half of the core support pulled out.
Then we got the alternator out. It wasn't too bad, just a bolt here and a bolt down there. And just some wiring all over. All these terrible old connectors are a pain, but they're coming undone.
So now the motor is free. We've got the 4 bell housing bolts out down in the back, and then there's a motor mount on each side, 1 bolt on each of those that comes off, and supposedly that's all we need.
So the last thing holding this in is actually the clutch. So we've got a clutch line going from the cylinder up here down to the clutch assembly and the bell housing, and I guess once we undo that, the motor's free.
You just see how caked on all this like mud and dirt and filth is in here. We're really excited to get that cleaned out and painted so it can last.
Alright, so UPS dropped off our carb plate, so we're gonna bolt this on and we'll use this to lift the engine. Little wrench when you just need to tighten something a little bit.
So, do you think that we have forgotten to undo anything?
Absolutely.
Yup.
Those look quick. So we gotta take the bumper off. I don't have a big enough lift.
Darn it. So the reason why we are hesitant to take off the bumper is that the bolts holding the bumper on are rather stuck. And this one here, we've started to get it loose, and it actually like stripped out the square hole that was holding it in place, and so we can't actually undo it because you can't really hold on to this side to loosen up the other side, and they're pretty rusty. So, I don't know. Probably gonna have to cut these off, which I really don't feel like doing.
Alright, so we cut the bumper bolts out, so now this is all open up front here. Put the hoist right in. And she's on. Let's see what happens. See a little shifting. That's good. And coming up. So then all we need to do is go high enough that it's off the motor mounts and then pull it forward to get off the transmission. Perfect.
Yummy. What's that?
That is more cool.
Perfect. Oh, I see it. Oh, dang. You have plenty of room. This thing will go a lot higher. Yeah, I need to go up a little bit. Get ice cream?
Well, we need to get our stands set up.
Yep.
We probably should have done before we suspended the engine.
Yes.
But hey, we did it.
Hey, go team. So we have this lowered on the ground right now, resting on a couple of wood blocks here for the time being, while we build the engine stand. So right now Zach is working on taking off the bell housing.
This is what we're kind of stuck on. There we go. Oh yeah.
As long as there isn't a mouse in here.
Oh my gosh. Look at the clutch.
Oh my goodness.
It's just so nasty.
Yeah, that's really gross.
I'm really surprised that there isn't a mouse in between the clutch and the
I am so happy that there's not the smushed remains of a mouse. Oh man.
Ooh,
Did you find the smushed remains of a mouse?
No. I found the remains of a bearing.
Oh.
There's just like little needles of a needle bearing in here.
That doesn't sound good. Oh man, I can see it.
There's like literally just like a whole bunch of needle bearings all dead in here.
Alright, so the flywheel is off. We're ready to put our engine stand on, I guess. Got some bolt holes. So now we gotta build it. So let's do that. We got it sitting on a tire. We're gonna close up for the night. We don't have the bolts, and obviously everything's closed when you need it. So this will have to wait till tomorrow, as projects typically do. So let's go get some ice cream. Ice cream time.
Ice cream time.